Good morning. Just coming up on St Breock Downs. Come up via the camel trail. Today I will be following the Saint's Way trail for a bit, ending up in St Austell probably. Now up on the road, you can see the wind farm ahead. The woods will be somewhere over to my left. Keep going up this road till I meet up with the Saint's Way trail. Then turn off where that goes, go through a couple of fields, up a hill and into Withiel. Hopefully this time don't get blocked off by cows with their young, but if I do, I know the way around, so here's the entrance to the woods, the wind farm. So something I'll be looking for today, because I've done a bit of research on the map. I think there's like an alternate route that's still waymarked as the Saint's Way trail, but it splits off somewhere around Helman Tor. Instead of going towards Lanivet and Lost Withiel, it goes down towards Par. I think it goes via the Treffry Viaduct. So I'm going to see if I can follow that today and possibly join up with the coast path somewhere at Par and go around towards Foy. I'll see what happens. It's quite calm and warm today, although it is supposed to rain for most of the day. It is quite wet. So here I joined the Saint's Way trail. Sheep, not Welsh sheep. Have to appreciate the landscape when you've got a little bit of visibility. Just coming down slightly now, but this area is relatively high up compared to the surroundings. Last time I came this way I got soaking wet feet. Now all the grass is gone. This mud is quite soft, difficult to move on. It feels like my feet are sinking. Might be going the wrong way, you know. Yeah, stick to the left in the first field and then go around the right side. This ground is absolutely awful. It's just so soft, and I think half of it is now stuck to the bottom of my feet. So my feet feel really heavy. There's grass in the next field, so hopefully that'll knock all the mud off. Literally feels like my feet have huge weights on them. Ground is very uneven through here. Plus downhill, so careful not to wreck my ankle or knees. Cows are not out today, at least in this field. See Withiel just over there. They're the cows I am more concerned about. Last time there was no way I could have got through that field. Like, the cows were right up against the stile and they had calves with them. Or is the right word calves? Calves. To love the inconsistency of spelling and pronunciation in the English language. Even the word pronunciation, I know that I'm saying it wrong every time, because you should say it like pronunciation, although there is no O in the middle. It's spelled like pronunciation. But you pronounce it like the root word pronounce. Even though you've arbitrarily taken one of the letters out. Sure, there are many such examples. That sign is still down. You can take like any vowel or combination of vowels in English and make them sound basically however you want them to. And yet, like when I'm, or at least in the early days of learning Welsh, every time I come across the letter U, I want to pronounce it like U. But the letter U in Welsh is pronounced like E. Sound E, not the letter E. I don't know if that's supposed to be the same in Cornish. It's one of the things that I struggled with was trying to learn a bit of Cornish, is that I don't know what the actual sounds of the letters should be. Because when I was learning it, it's a bit inconsistent. Sometimes they might pronounce U like U, sometimes they might pronounce it like E. Depends who was speaking. Smell the allium. Very nice. At this point I've done like loads more Welsh than Cornish, but I still feel that I can say a lot more in Cornish than Welsh. I guess the problem with the way that I'm learning Welsh is that it doesn't really teach you to speak about indeterminate things, or to just speak generally. Like, I'd be able to construct a lot more specific phrases in Welsh, but I couldn't just like say things that I would normally say. If that makes any sense. Like in Cornish I learned very little actual vocabulary, just like verbs and how to form a few sentences and talk about this or that or something or anything. I feel like I don't really know any of those words in Welsh. Like I said before, you talk about pink parsnips. Like in Welsh I wouldn't really be able to say stuff like, can you tell me how to say this in Welsh? Or I don't understand. Or, you know, useful stuff that you might say if you need to talk to someone in that language, but you're not very fluent with it. Like in Cornish, that was some of the first things that I learned. To get to the top of this field and go right, that's where I was blocked off last time. I've not spied any cows yet, but we shall see. Still long and wet grass. This field is open, which is a good sign. Yeah, couldn't come over this stile last time because the cows were right on the other side of it. Ground has been worked. Where is it I go in here? I think it's like across there. Cannot describe the difficulty of walking on all this. Like, it really shouldn't be bad, but it is really bad. Oh, hold on. I think it's down this track. If I can remember. Yeah, there is another public footpath through the field to my left, but that's not part of the Saint's Way trail. I guess if you're being sneaky, you could take it as a shortcut, because it does join up with the road that I'll be walking on momentarily. Oh, from mud to gravel. Now they just need to give me some sand. So I guess one thing I have in Welsh that I don't have in Cornish, or a couple of things, is like being able to speak with a wider range of pronouns. So rather than just talking about I or you, you can also talk about he, she, they, we, etc. Or talk about an object or an animal, which I've not learned that in Cornish. But also might seem weird after like 15 lessons, but I haven't learned in Cornish how to like express agreement or disagreement with a phrase or a question. I assume it might be like Welsh, where there's not really a word that just means yes or no. It's more like you express agreement or disagreement with the question, and the words that you use to do that change depending on what tense you're speaking in and what you're speaking about. So like if you wanted to say yes in response to a question about yourself, you would say I do. But if you want to say yes in response to a question about somebody else, you would say ydi. Or if you're talking in the past tense, you would say do, and so on. Right turn coming up somewhere down here, and then I know there's another cow field. Shall see if they're in there or not. Don't really dislike cows or anything, but kind of have to acknowledge that I'm a small and weak creature in comparison to them, so I just prefer to avoid getting their attention, really. Really prefer if the hedges were dry. You have to be careful on these roads because some people drive far too quickly, considering you cannot really see around any of the corners. So you kind of have to be prepared to jump into the hedge. There is decent way marking on this trail, so you don't need the GPS too often. Though, as we have seen, some of the posts have fallen over. Haven't seen any cows yet. Long wet grass. It doesn't look like the cows are out today. Maybe in a different field. I can hear cows over to my left, so at least here there's a nice path straight on through. Don't have to get too much up around your ankles. Wouldn't really want to be walking through all of this. But I know there are some fields that you go through where the crops are like right up against you. Usually if it's wet then you'll get soaked. Okay, now it's closing in a bit and my legs very, very wet now. Let's get out of it. Oh, that's not good. Soaked. So follow this road down a bit. I'll be in Lanivet, which is just a bit south of Bodmin. Cross through the town and then under the main road on the other side, and then I'll be coming up for Helman Tor. So if I look in this direction, that's Bodmin. You can see the obelisk on top of the hill. Here's some bells. So I was wondering what the bells are for. It's like just coming up to 10:30 on a Saturday. But then I remembered it's probably the coronation stuff. So I'm just out the other side of Lanivet. We'll be crossing under the main road in just a moment. Dark, scary tunnel. Continue down this road a bit and then there's a right turn somewhere along here. Again, it is way marked, so as long as I have my eyes open I should see the sign for the turning. It's taking a minute to walk a bit, close to 20k now, which is usually when my legs kind of feel like they're going to cramp, but once I get over that then I'm fine. It's basically like every time when I get to this distance then I can feel my legs. I'm like, okay, just get past that feeling and then it'll go away. Hopefully not come back. May as well have a quick snack and drink while I'm walking. Next major landmark, I guess, will be Helman Tor. Trying to get a look at Helman Tor over the hedge, but maybe get a glimpse of it. There's a lot of stuff in the way. Now getting a much better look. been wondering if there was a path through there. I haven't been here in a while. I don't remember that sign being there, but it probably was. I just didn't see it last time. Be going over just here and then going up. Okay, let's just get it done. Oh. Let's take just a second to look. Great. Now finally slippery route down. I'll just go down here. All the rocks are wet and slippery, so need to be a bit careful. Back to some sensible ground. This looks like the most well-trodden bit. Quick look. So I'm kind of backtracking slightly. This is where I will diverge from the route that I know and join what I think is an alternate path. So I should get to see some quite nice stuff soon that I've not already been through before. Stones. for a while I had been thinking, like, after I've completed that Smuggler's Way run, that it could potentially be like the last of the really long stuff. But that was kind of back when I was not quite looking forward to it, because I don't know, I went through a period of really wondering if I was going to be able to complete that. But then for like the 2 weeks before it happened, I don't know what changed, but I just got really like focused on it, and I was really looking forward to it by the time it actually happened, and I really enjoyed it on the day. So it's kind of had the opposite effect, and now I'm like, I want to do that again. I might just end up signing up for that run again next year. I think it's mostly just like a mental thing. Like, I want to be able to do this stuff, and it is kind of difficult. Like, certainly you shouldn't underestimate what it takes to get fit and to feel like safe and being able to do stuff. But the mental side of it is, it's like just as much. Like, when you show up on the day with the mentality, like, I know that I can do this, kind of makes it way easier than when you go out thinking, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be able to do. Like, in the same way you have to train your body to be fit, you have to kind of train your mind to be able to get past negativity, and that does make a huge difference. So that way marker says to come up here. I think my planned route kept going along a bit and then took the next right, which should be very similar. So yeah, there are more Saint's Way signs down here. So the route that I've done continues on after Helman Tor. I think I described it earlier at some point, that you go through Lanivet towards Withiel, then you turn and go down to Foy. This route appears to go to Par and then crosses over the headland around to Foy. Right then. I'm not sure if my feet are wet or just cold. I have a feeling they're just cold. So I think I actually got through there fine. Just keep following this for a little bit and then There should be a footpath down here somewhere. I feel like my legs are really threatening to cramp right now. I may take a 5-minute break, or when I have somewhere I can do that. Next way marker. Okay, I'm off the road. I think I'm gonna have to stop for a minute. Otherwise my legs are really going to cramp. It'd be great if I could sit for a moment. Might have to just do it on the ground. Looks like a very young squirrel. I'm going to have to be careful, I think. My legs not feeling all that great. Probably put an end to me doing any further running today. Bit unfortunate to get cramp, but well, I didn't actually get cramp yet, but it's like it feels very close to that. Much better to be safe. Probably the rest of the day will just have to be about seeing some things, which is perfectly fine. Running is fun and everything, but if I'm gonna get cramp, then mustn't push it. It's just all part of the process. Sometimes you get cramp, sometimes you don't. If I had come a bit further down, I could have stopped somewhere down here where I could have kept my legs out instead of where I stopped, which was on a hill. So I couldn't really stretch my legs very well. Need to do a bit more investigation into what might be the reason that I get cramp sometimes. I used to think it was just not eating or drinking enough, but to be honest, sometimes I can eat like a fair amount and still feel a bit of cramp. Sometimes I can go like almost all day and hardly eat and I don't feel anything. So I think it's not quite that simple. Am I going the right way? Could be to do with electrolytes. It could be any number of things that influences that. I would say I seem to fare better eating like a sandwich or something. Oatcakes. I guess something that's high in carbohydrates. I suppose that makes sense, since that breaks down into glucose, which your muscles need, and also will come with salt in it, which your muscles need. So I have been trying to eat more stuff like that. But again, it's like I've had other times where I went out and ate like almost no carbohydrates and did perfectly fine. Just need to do a bit more learning and analysis. See if I can figure out what might be causing it. Starting to feel alright again now though. Anyway, I think enough talk about cramp. That's for me to do my research on later. I'm actually feeling quite good again now. I think that sandwich has done the trick. Should be coming up on the viaduct soon. Looking forward to seeing what that's like. It's always nice to get out to places that I've not really been. Water. So I'm quite liking all the trails that I've seen. Looks kind of nice, but no way I would go near that water. It smells like sewage, or it smells like the sewage treatment places, which is not the nicest of smells. Yeah, this looks like it. So this is the Treffry Viaduct. Oh, slipping on the stones. get down to these rocks and then I can get a look over the edge. I can see the train tracks, can hear the river. I'm not tall enough to see over the sides. I was really hoping that I would be able to. Ugh. I'll have to check on the camera later if there was anything of interest down there. People power. Right then, that's the viaduct. So the trails through here should take me down to Par Beach. At like 30 kilometres, roughly 4.5 hours in. This is really quite nice. So I think at the moment, to avoid overdoing it today, I'm hedging on get down to Par Beach, check out like a small section of the coastal path, and then make my way to wherever I'm finishing up for the day. But yeah, up until like after Helman Tor, I'm happy with like the average speed that I was maintaining, because this hasn't been the easiest of routes today. This looks like a really cool place to come exploring. I might have to do it again one day. Come down here. Also got in a bit of practice on part of the Saints Way that I'll be doing in September, which is good. Still feel kind of familiar with a lot of it. There are a few parts where I was like, this section's a bit longer than I remember, but I think I normally feel that, because you sort of remember the more significant landmarks along the way, I guess. You don't remember the smaller stuff quite so much. Like, you don't remember all the twists and turns in the back roads. But you do remember like crossing through towns, certain fields, hills, etc. Looks like there's a number of trails to explore around here. Definitely seems like a place I would come again. Could spend several hours exploring around in there, I think. As for right now, I guess I'm on a road. Looks like it must be the old tram line continued. Uh-oh. Scary tunnel. Bit of a shame that the ground is so sodden today. Otherwise it's been a very nice day. Should be emerging from the trees. As soon as I turned the camera off, basically dunked my foot in the mud, which is fantastic. It's basically covered my shoe, but it didn't get up inside or anything. Normally I don't like long wet grass, but it does a decent job of wiping the mud off. I think it's down this way. I know at some point I need to be on the other side of this river. I think it's at the next crossing. This path feels like it's been going on for ages. Finally coming to another road. This one I do need to cross over the water. Almost went down that one. I want to be on this side. Walking through this little park thing. It should lead on to the trail down to the beach. Clay trails sound interesting as well. And I always appreciate it when they have boards up with information on wildlife or the local area. I hope you're not expecting anything from me, because I got nothing. They've got the little ones with them I don't want to get too close. Goslings, do you call them? Baby geese. Want to catch a train somewhere. Go back to Wales. The next train arriving at platform 2 will be for Cardiff Central. Apparently this little path is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be over there somewhere. Can I get over there? Quite possibly. How do I get in on this? My god, it must be like 10 years since I ran on a track. I wonder what it must be like. Like, I genuinely don't remember the feel of it under your feet. So I'm now on the southwest coast path, and this will go down to Car Beach. This sounds cool. Rewilding honeybees. So I've now reached the south coast. On the other side of this headland, out here, the other side, there's Foy. So what I had been planning to do was to walk out around that to the other side, not far from Foy, and then walk back across the top. But I don't think I'm going to do all of that today. So now follow the coast path up onto the cliff. If I keep going around here, I'll end up in Foy. I don't think I'm going to go that far. So in the distance there you can see all the coast where I walked along in a previous video, which was when I went from Port Scathlow to Charlestown. Coming close to having used up both of my batteries on the GoPro. I feel like they're wearing out faster than they used to. Either that or I'm just not paying attention to how much I've recorded. Really love to go in the sea. This will be as far as I go today. I don't have too much time to walk further along, but yeah, this has been a fun little trip down to the south coast. I might have a quick test of the water, let's say, before I start making my way back. Stones. Cold. a bit stony and it's not the calmest it could be today. And I don't deal well with the cold water. So I've just kind of put my feet in. But I don't think I can go further than that. Alright. Get my shoes back on. I think I need to set off in a moment. No longer have the beach to myself, unfortunately. So as it turns out, I was sat next to this spider that whole time. I don't really like spiders. I didn't notice it there. Trying to walk back up these rocks barefooted. Hopefully to knock some of the sand off. Then I can put my socks back on. Hopefully just do that here. Use the grass a bit. I would have liked to walk all out around today. Didn't quite get there. Now then, be making my way to where I'm finishing today. So back along the trail, I've got my shoes back on. And then towards St Austell. I'm not sure there's going to be much of interest between here and where I'm finishing. It's maybe a good place for me to end the video. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.